Oh my god.
Is this the final episode of the Range Rover? I don't know. Let's see if we can finish it. So what we've got to do is we're going to stick the quarter panels on. When we put the quarter panels on, we're going to stick the floor in. That lovely floor from Machinor Limited, the big aluminium one. That's going in. Once we've done that, we can bleed the brakes. We can bleed the diesel system, fuel system. Drive it forward. Put the tailgate on, the upper tailgate. Mop all the paint. Bang the interior in. And we're done. I mean, it's going to be a long episode. Hopefully, we'll get it all done today. Just in the process of stripping the rear quarter panel down, because I want to remove the lights, because I'm going to redo all the connections, all the bulbs, everything like that. I want to remove most of this rubbish and just replace it with heat shrink. I thought this was quite interesting, though. So obviously, this gasket was broken, so Barry has used whatever this used to be to bridge that little gap in the gasket. There we go. If anybody knows what that is, I reckon that says something like serving pro or something like that. Maybe that's calories. Who knows? Have a guess. I'm going to ask him and we'll probably know by the end of this episode. So, made a little bit of progress off camera. We are now ready to test and see if the tailgate latches. Now, I've messed around with it a little bit, so I'm hoping it should just... Oh, feels pretty good. Let's try the handle. Oh, hang on, that's not in properly, is it? It's never easy when you're trying to hold a camera. Hang on. There we go. There we go. I know, obviously, the paintwork is massively different. I know, before anyone says it. I mean, it's not that bad. I think once this has been cut back and buffed, it'll look a bit better. And once this has had 30 years and faded, it'll look better. But yeah, not great. So as you can see, the quarter panel's on as well. I've adjusted the passenger door because that was smashing here, and also you can see for a long old time, try and get it to focus, this was hitting on here, but this is all adjusted now. Perfect fit. Okay, so we've done a bit more. I did some work off camera. This actually took 2.5 days to get this engine running. So we filled it with diesel, and then we did the, actually this would be really handy if anyone here has a 3.5 SLTI engine. If you run it out of diesel, there's a procedure to prime it and get all the diesel back through. So as you can see down here, this is a little hand pump. So you unscrew that anti-clockwise, it pops up. Then you can push it with your thumb, and that basically just creates pressure and pulls the diesel around. So you don't need to do anything to the sedimenter if you've got the sedimenter, because that's before the pump. So it comes up to the sedimenter, it goes into the pump. So the first thing you do is you crack off the bleed screw for the diesel filter. So you pump that until the diesel comes up to the top, and then it starts bubbling out of there. Once you've done that, you seal that, and then you go down here, and this is the diesel return pipe. That's a 14 mil, something like that. Crack that, continue pumping this until this starts weeping out diesel. Push that down, screw it back clockwise, lock it, that's done. Then you crack all 4 of the injectors. There's 17 mil. Crack all 4 of them and then crank that engine. It will not start, and you want to keep cranking it until you start seeing each injector have a pulse. So it'll just be a bit of fuel just going out of each injector, and do that until all 4 of them are doing it. If all 3 are doing it, that's fine. Stop, lock them off, and then wait until this one does it. It might run, it might not. After that, it should fire up. If you do have any more problems like we had with it, what we did is we actually just towed it, put it in gear and towed it with the bonnet off until it squirted diesel everywhere. This whole engine bay was covered in diesel. Now, it's fine, except it's got a starting fault, which I've finally traced. Sometimes it would start, sometimes it wouldn't. The starter motor's fine. I went straight off the battery to the start of a hot lead. It would fire up. This is our little problem. This is the starter motor relay on all the early suffixes. See the problem? There you go. A snapped spade terminal there. And that little shit was basically causing all the troubles for the intermittent starting. And it would basically, as soon as it vibrated and made contact with the relay, it would start, but then it would sort of vibrate off and it wouldn't. So we've got a new one of these coming, so that will fix all of our problems. So what I'll do now is I'm going to input the video now, and that will show me, my mate Matt was filming me. This is my first ever drive of it. I didn't realise I was actually driving it in low range, so watch that. Whoa! Oh, it's so powerful!
He doesn't know the stuff on the roof, does he? You got something on the roof as well.
Oh, yeah, loads of things on the roof.
Hang on, hang on. Go on, go for a rip. Just going off into the sunset in his little shitbox. He's so happy.
After that, I then ran it out of diesel because I didn't realise I hadn't put enough diesel in it. So we had to do the whole bleeding procedure all over again while it was stuck halfway in a field. After we did that, we took it for a drive, and I tell you, this thing absolutely flies along.
Oh my God.
There's no problem there at all with the power of that car. There's no problem with the engine. There's no problem with the clutch or anything like that. It all works brilliantly. The brakes, on the other hand, now I did bleed them and I bled them all satisfactory, but obviously they've still got air in them, so they're really spongy. It does stop, but it needs a bleed again, so we need to do that. We've done, what else have we done? So we just finished putting the, I've just finished putting the old seat boxes back in. I'm pretty happy with how these came out. You can see, I mean, there's a couple of little runs in them, but they're going to be covered with plastic covers. But they look really good there. We've got that lovely floor there from Machinor Limited just sitting in there. That needs to be done. We've started, let's go in the back here. God, it's so hard with one hand. Sorry, 2 secs. I'll be back. We started messing around with the seal. So this is a seal that came out of that donor car. So we're just cleaning these up so we can get these riveted in and then attach all the bits and pieces and the seal. And once we've done that, then we can take this lovely floor out, put the old one on top of it, drill through it, pop rivet it in. Before we do that, we need to put the mud flap brackets on the mud flaps. And also we need to start messing around with all the lights. We need to drag the interior out and clean that. So we'll just keep cracking on with it, and I'll keep coming back and updating you. Oh, I've also put this lovely little trim on here. I needed to put on for ages. I'm so happy with this tailgate, I really am. It's like my favourite thing I've ever... All this to try and find why the indicators aren't working. So this has just taken forever. I hate doing electrics. Hazards would work, indicators wouldn't, which I thought was very weird. Read online, everything said that they just have one flasher relay, which is this one. Messed around with it. Hazards work. I've had it all apart, checked all the contacts and all the indicator and everything like that. Turns out there's a second flasher relay just next to it there. I literally just flicked it with my finger, and it was obviously just a little bit sticky, and now we've got indicators working fine, as you will see. Just flick that down. 2 secs. There we go. So that's a lesson. Oh, and we've got a working horn. What we do need to try and work out is why the windscreen wipers don't do anything at all. So that's going to be the next list item to tick. So let's have a crack on with it. Right, so just making a little bit of progress with the wipers. I don't know if you can see through there. We've got a multimeter connected to the windscreen washer pump connections. So when we press that, if you can see that, it says like 11.9 volts. So we know that the stalk itself is fine. Which means that the connections are probably going to be fine too. So it's most likely going to be a connection on the pump, on the windscreen wiper motor, or that's absolutely knackered. So I'm half tempted to turn it on and stick a wiper arm on here and just try and work it backwards and forwards, just see if it's going to break it loose. Otherwise we'll be taking the rest of the dash out. Right, so I think we have found the problem with the lack of wiper. motor action. So, as you can see here, we've just made ourselves a little simple circuit up. So you've got multiple wires here. As you can see, at some point, someone's broken a terminal off and soldered 2 of the wires together. I mean, it's not a massive issue. That'll probably just be for the intermittent or slow function on the wipers. So black is negative, and on this, according to the diagram online, green is positive. So we've got, you can just see up here, got green going to positive, and then we've got another wire here going straight to negative, which would be for the black. Now when we touch this, we should get something. Nothing at all. You can see there, dead as a dodo. I've been trying to get it working all of yesterday, couldn't do it. Yeah, I think it's knackered. I took it apart, couldn't see anything wrong with it, but then to be honest with you, I've already got a new one coming, so it's not the end of the world. We've also got another problem, as you can see here. So this one's fine. Where are we? That one's fine. That spindle. This one, completely seized solid. So we're going to mess around with that one. Now, we have also checked as well that we've got power coming up here. So when the wiper stalk is active and everything's connected up, we've gone, we've put the, connected up the green and the black off of this harness here with the old multimeter, and it's showing us just under 12 volts here. So the circuit itself is fine, but the motor is knackered. The motor's probably burnt out at some point because it's been trying to turn that spindle. Now, coming into here, I'm going to have a quick go at trying to get the heater motor going. That's the only thing that isn't working at the moment. However, I've made a decision with that. If it doesn't work, it's just staying not working for now. Because you have to take everything out to get to it. It's a massive ball ache, and I really want to drive this over the summer, so the heater's not massively essential to do. Now, the heater itself, I think, wants replacing, and I have got a replacement heater. As you can see up here, the top flap is rusty. So the replacement one I've got will replace that, but that's going to be towards the end of this year. I'm going to just try and get it on the road. The whole dash needs to come out for that heater, and while it comes out, I know there's a bit of rust up here on the dash mounting that's going to need welding, and I just know it's going to turn into a massive job. So I'm just going to clean it up, button it up, make sure everything's working apart from the heater. If I do get the motor going, then that's a bonus, but I'm not expecting it to go. And just get it all together, clean it up, put the interior in, and just enjoy it. What else has happened? Oh, the boot floor, the lovely Machinor Limited boot floor, that's now in. Just need to clean up some of this mess. What I did is it was really, really hard to get these pop rivets to hold the floor down at the back with this seal, which is also in as well, which was very thick. So what I've done is I've gone self-tapper through every other one, and that's pulled the floor all the way down, and then I've used heavy-duty pop rivets just to anchor it as well. We pop riveted all the way along there and all the way along there. I have realised, I didn't know, but this is actually the one that came out. This is an alley floor. It was repaired. You can see where it's welded, but it is a really nice alley floor. So if anybody is in the market for an alley floor, let me know, because that one is obviously not doing anything at the moment. So I think the next job right now is going to be to have a mess around with the heater. If we can't get the heater working, clean the dash, put it all together, and then start chucking the interior in. So let's see how far. Oh yeah, oh yes. So what we've done, if you can hear me, I've just, to eliminate, this motor was knackered, so I put a live straight to the motor. Calming down a little bit now. I put a live straight to the motor off the battery. Now, if you remove the wiper motor cover, it's easier. There's actually, I'll tell you what, let's go and have a story time over here. So on the motor, what you got? Green, which is power, just there. And then you've got a negative, which is here. A negative works off a switch on this control panel thing. So what I've done, just to eliminate any of the wiring, I connected the live straight to this, which is the green, which is the positive to the motor. And we got nothing at all, which was quite confident, because I like that when it's a fault with a part, not a with the wiring. So what I did is I used a screwdriver, this nice little long snap-on doozy. I shoved it up there and I smacked that motor as hard as I could, and then it suddenly started working, which is brilliant. So now all we've got to do is connect it up and hope that it still works off the wiring. And if it does, we're in business. Right, it's the moment of truth. So I've just connected it all back up again. So this should be turned on now. All the way to the left is, hang on, let's have a little look at the little panel. Yeah, all the way is full. Okay, so the switch is all the way to the left. Ready? Oh yeah, there we go. That's brilliant. Do you know what? That's really cheered me up because I was getting really down about that today. Oh look, it works on all the speeds. Brilliant. We can live with that. No, I'm well happy with that actually. Well, what we can do now is we can just clean up the whole dashboard now. The whole dash can go together. We've got everything working. Everything working. We've got lights, indicators, hazards. Brilliant. Right, let's bolt. So, here's the dashboard. It's all back in again. So what I did is I cleaned it with some hot soapy water. And then I just cleaned it, dried it, and put some dash shine on it. So it's sort of got a lot of the ingrained dirt out of it. I think it's come out pretty well, to be honest with you. That's all back together again. I've got all the wiring has been all tidied up underneath. I cut so much out. I don't know where it's all gone. I think I threw it away. And it's all tidied up under there as well. I've just put the kick panels in. I've just rested those in just to see what they look like. So I'm pretty happy with those. The floor is all done, given that all nice clean. So I'm pretty happy with how all that's coming out, to be honest with you. Let's take a minute just to look at that machinor limited floor, because that floor is absolutely stunning. I am over the moon with that. I think we'll all agree that looks absolutely brilliant, as does the fuel filler neck that they do. So remember, if you do need anything, Machinor Limited, they are the guys for the panels. And the fit of that panel was just absolutely brilliant. I'm over the moon with that. I'm actually over the moon with how everything is coming along, to be honest with you. Sadly, we didn't finish this in this episode, which is not my fault. It's just things that I wasn't expecting to deal with, like I really do think this has only got maybe 2 days left, then it's done. Maybe even one long day. If I hadn't have needed to deal with fixing things like the indicators not working, the wiper motor, all those little niggly bits and pieces, it probably would have been done, you know, but we can only just sort of get along with it. But yeah, so it is getting there. I need to free that off, that stupid spindle, try and free that off, and put that back in. Then the scuttle panel on the bonnet can go back on, the rear lights can go back in, and then the interior. So I'm going to go fish the interior out, which is buried over there. So we'll go get that out later and we'll wet back that. But there we go, guys. Thanks for watching. Obviously, anyone wants to comment on anything, feel free. I always reply to all the comments. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. It opens up a really big door with YouTube if I do. So thanks for watching.